Avery was convicted of brutally attacking Penny Burnson on a Wisconsin beach in 1985. He was sentenced to prison for 32 years. But Avery kept appealing his conviction.
2 times in the Court of Appeals, they upheld it.
Still, he insisted the Manitowoc County Sheriff had arrested the wrong man. And some others in law enforcement thought Avery was right. That's because the city police department had another man on their radar back in 1985.
A man by the name of Gregory Allen, who was the Manitowoc City Police Department, as opposed to the Sheriff's Department, had under surveillance for a series of horrible crimes, entries into homes, assaults of young women in the home late at night.
A city detective told the Sheriff's Department they should look at Allen because he also fit the description Penny provided. Allen's photo was never shown to Penny.
He should have been, right off the bat, a suspect, and his picture should have been included in the original photo array. That's one of the things that bothers Penny to this day.
And in her interview with Dateline back in 2005, Penny herself revealed something startling. Penny told us she got a call from someone in the Manitowoc City Police Department, not long after the Sheriff's Department had already put Avery behind bars.
He identified himself and said, "We have another suspect in mind who is not Stephen Avery, but who looks a great deal like Steve. And we'd like to ask you some questions."
Penny says the Manitowoc police detective never named the suspect, and the call really rattled her.
I remember hanging up the phone thinking, oh my God, maybe the wrong person's in custody.
Penny said she called the sheriff
and said to him, "What's this about another suspect?" And he said, the Manitowoc Police Department doesn't have jurisdiction. We will look into this. Don't talk to them. It will only confuse you.
Stephen Avery sat in prison for the next 16 years. Then, in 2001, he got the Wisconsin Innocence Project to take on his case. The attorneys there were able to get 2 hairs found on Penny after her attack tested for DNA. In September 2003, the results were in.
One thing has happened after the other.
Griesbach, who was working in the DA's office back then, remembers that moment well.
I received a telephone call, along with another prosecutor in the office, from the Wisconsin State Crime Lab.
He recalls the crime lab employee asking him and his colleague if they were sitting down.
It's because she had some news that might be shocking. The DNA came back to not Stephen Avery, but to a fellow who was a known sex offender still serving time in prison for a crime that he committed 10 years after the assault of Penny Burnson.
Penny's husband and a friend broke the news to her.
And I knew that I identified the wrong person before they told me, just by the fact that neither one had any color in their face.
Turned out, the DNA belonged to none other than Gregory Allen, the man the Manitowoc police told the sheriff's office they should have been looking at in the first place.
That day was much more difficult than the day of the assault for me. I just couldn't grasp the magnitude of being, you know, an unwitting participant in this huge miscarriage of justice.
You raped Penny Burnson.
No, I didn't.
Allen denied assaulting Penny when Dateline spoke with him in 2005 and was never charged with the crime because the statute of limitations had passed.
Oh, hello. How are you? I'm pretty good.
But a judge completely exonerated Avery and freed him from prison. After 18 years of darkness and despair, he walked out into the light of the media glare.
Oh, God. No, Steve. Yeah, I can stay out here all day long. And nobody telling me what to do. That feels good.
What did you say to him? What did he say to you that day? I think I commented on his beard because it was so big and long, and I told him to get rid of it. And told him I loved him and I was glad that he was home.
Home to a new life.
That was the hardest part.
As he became the poster child in Wisconsin for wrongful convictions, testifying at the state capitol.
The family stuck around for a while, and it was hard. So then I told the old lady to leave.
Penny wanted to make things right with Stephen Avery and got her chance when the two met face to face in Madison.
And I began by apologizing, saying how inadequate I knew my words were. Then I said, is it all right if I give you a hug? And he didn't wait for an answer, and he hugged me, and I said so only he could hear, Steve, I'm so sorry. And he said back, it's okay, Penny, it's over.
Avery didn't blame Penny, but he did blame the Manitowoc District Attorney and Sheriff, suing them for $36 million for his wrongful conviction. That made Kim nervous.
I did tell him to be careful. You know, Manitowoc wasn't done with him.
Why did you think they weren't done with him?
Something just told me they weren't going to hand Steve Avery $36 million or any kind of money. That they were just going to be watching him.
And soon, deputies would be watching, because when a woman went missing in Manitowoc, the last person to see her alive appeared to be Stephen Avery.
Coming up, a young photographer vanishes on assignment.
Her phone was last used in or around the vicinity of Stephen Avery's salvage yard.
Stephen Avery on the radar again. What will investigators find this time?
This is a big moment.
It is the moment.
When Dateline continues.